All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video, another Riftbound video. We're going over all of the cards from the first set Origin. We've gone over the red Fury cards, the green Calm cards, the blue Mind cards, and now we're going to be going over the orange Body cards, okay? So let's go ahead and hop straight into this, guys. I'll have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant links and stuff like that in the comment section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. All right, first up we have Arena Bar. This is a 3-cost gear with tap to buff an exhausted friendly unit. Okay, we saw the buff mechanic in the green cards. It looks like orange is going to have some as well. Okay, very cool. Very interesting gear here. And it can buff an exhausted friendly unit. Okay, so that could probably add up pretty quickly over time, right? If this is a gear you can get down early on and you could start cashing in on this effect every single turn, buffing a card every turn, the value on this card could go up quite a bit over the course of a game. Okay, let's keep going. Next up we have Bilgewater Bully. This is a 6-cost, 6-might Bilgewater unit with, while I'm buffed, I have ganking. And that's it, okay? It has, I can move from battlefield to battlefield with ganking. So while I'm buffed, I have ganking. Otherwise, this is a 6-cost, 6-might unit, which seems like it's, you know, pretty decent for the cost to might ratio. And then it could potentially get ganking later on whenever you buff it. And we just saw a gear, the very first card we looked at, this Arena Bar card, can give buffs to exhausted units, okay? So there could be some synergy there, and it looks like that might be a major theme within Orange here, within the body runes, or the body cards, to buff stuff up, okay? All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, we got the body rune. This is the standard one. And then we have the Altart rune. This one looks really good as well. That color is actually really nice. They picked a really nice, vibrant orange. It looks really good. All right, next up we have Cannon Barrage. This is a 2-cost spell, reaction speed, and deal 2 damage to all enemy units in combat. Okay, wow, that could potentially be very, very powerful. If you're going against any kind of deck that likes to go wide on the board and has a lot of like smaller units, this could be really strong against something like that. Now, against decks that run, you know, bigger units, this won't be that great. But against the decks that like to go wide, this could be really strong. I wonder if there's going to be a sideboard in this game, because this seems like one of those cards that if there's going to be a sideboard, this card will be perfect for that. Okay, let's keep going. All right, so next up we have Challenge. This is a 2-cost spell, action speed, and it says choose a friendly unit and an enemy unit. They deal damage equal to their mights to each other. Okay, so if you're running, okay, so in this situation here, if you're going to be running a lot of like really large units in the deck, like some really strong units in your deck, this challenge could be really good. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye out on, guys, is like the cost to might ratios within Orange, within the body cards. Because if you can play out some pretty big cards and, you know, bigger cards than your opponent at least, and then you can start challenging them, this card could be really, really strong. Okay, choose a friendly unit and an enemy unit. They deal damage equal to their mights to each other. So if you have a 5-might unit and they have like a 4-might unit, you can just pay 2 and basically destroy their unit, right? So that seems really, really good. Okay, let's keep going. Next up we have Confront. This is a 2-cost spell, action speed, with units you play this turn enter ready, okay, and then draw 1. Wow, I'm a huge fan of cards that replace themselves. I think they're called like cantrips, is like the universal name for them, and I really do like this card doing that, because it doesn't really do a whole lot otherwise. Like imagine, like, let me say it like this. I like that they gave a card the ability to draw 1 and replace itself. Because if you want to play this early on, you can just play it to cycle a card, right? Like, say you have 2 or 3 of these in your hand or something. Like, say that's just what happened, right? Like, oh, crap, I drew a bunch of cards. Okay, no problem. You can just pay 2 and draw a card early on. And, yeah, your units will enter the interplay ready this turn, and you don't play any units. It's not a big deal. You got to cycle it out. You've got more in your hand in this example and so on. You know, so I do like when they give cards like this some utility to draw a card. And then later in the game, you're going to be able to play this out maybe on like a 9 or 10 rune turn. You can play this out, draw a card, and then play out whatever units for the turn, and they're coming into play ready. It says units you play this turn enter ready. So even if you play out a bunch of units for the turn, they're all going to be able to come into ready, and this is going to allow you to potentially even conquer 2 battlefields in one turn. This could be a really strong card, a very good catch-up mechanic, and like I said, it has the utility to just draw a card if you need to use it early on to cycle. Yeah, really big fan of this card. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we have Crackshot Corsair. This is a 3-cost, 3-might Bilgewater Pirate unit with, when I attack, deal 1 damage to an enemy unit here. Okay, so it's 3 costs for 3 might. That's already, you know, pretty much good enough. And then whenever you attack, you can deal damage to a unit wherever you're attacking. Not bad. Okay, this is just a solid card here. Not much to say about this. Let's keep going. Next up, we have Dune Drake. This is a 5-cost, 5-might Shurima Dragon unit with, when I attack, give me +2 might if there is a ready enemy unit here. Okay, that's a weird thing. You know, that's a weird condition there. When I attack, give me +2 might if there is a ready enemy unit here. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. If they do have a ready enemy unit, you're paying 5 and you're attacking with a 7 might unit. So that seems really strong. Okay. I wonder how often that will come up, though, because I feel like, okay, you know, if your opponent just attacked in, you know, all their stuff's going to be exhausted, right, potentially. I guess everything depends, right? If they're trying to hold a battlefield, then this could be really good, but I guess it will largely depend on the matchup in the situation. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we have First Mate. This is a 3-cost, 3-might Bilgewater Pirate unit with, when you play me, ready another unit. Okay. So, hang on, let's see. When you play me, ready another unit. So, I don't think this unit will be ready. I think it's worded this way, so that means you're going to play out this card, this First Mate unit here, and you won't be able to ready this unit. You have to ready another unit. So, it can't ready itself. It has to ready something else. That doesn't seem too bad, though. I will say it doesn't seem too bad. You're paying 3. You're getting 3 might, so that part's all, you know, that all seems good. And then you're also going to get to some other potential, you know, bonus from playing the card out, readying another unit. Seems good. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we have Flurry of Blades. This is a 1-cost spell with reaction timing or reaction speed. Deal 1 damage to all units at battlefields. Okay, now this one is so check this out, guys. So Flurry of Blades. This is pay 1 to deal 1 damage to all units at battlefields, right? So that's like symmetrical AoE damage, whereas we just saw earlier on with Cannon Barrage something that's more asymmetrical. Okay, this one costs 2 and it only deals 2 damage to all enemy units. It doesn't hit your units, right? Whereas the card we just saw, the Flurry of Blades, this hits all units at battlefields. And I think the idea here is you're only dealing 1 damage to all units. So, you know, if you're building your deck in such a way that your units are much bigger, dealing 1 damage to them probably won't hurt you very much, but it could knock all of your opponent's, you know, smaller characters down. So this is a cool, this is a pretty cool spell here. It's reaction speed, and I'll have to see how timing works in this game, especially with damage. If we're in the middle of a fight, like let's just say, let me say it like this. If anyone knows in the comment section below, please say something. But can I use this to finish off my opponent's characters in a battle? Like, let's just say we're at a battlefield, or I guess I should say in a showdown, right? So if we're at a showdown, we're at a battlefield, and I have a 3 might unit, and I'm going into a 4 might unit. So when we deal damage, am I going to be able to react with Flurry of Blades to deal 1 damage to all units at the battlefield? And since I'm a 3, it won't just take me out immediately. And then since they're a 4, same thing with them, but they'll have 1 damage on them, and then they'll deal 4 to me. My unit will be gone, and my 3 to them. Will it stack with this 1 damage? If someone knows, please say something in the comment section below. If that's the case, I really like this card. It's going to help with, you know, do a little bit of extra chip damage to take down characters, and it could also help clear out the board from any smaller, you know, any kind of board flood going on. But otherwise, yeah, it's still not bad either way. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we have Mobilize. This is a 2-cost spell that says channel 1 rune exhausted, and if you can't, draw 1. Okay, I do like that. So you're gonna be able to pay 2 and ramp a rune, right? Or channel 1 rune exhausted. So in other words, like let's just say you have 3 runes for the turn. Let's just say you have 2 runes for the turn, right? Okay, if you have 2 runes for the turn and you pay 2 for this card, you will ramp another rune. You'll go up to 3 runes, but they'll all be exhausted at that point. And it says if you can't, draw 1. One thing I wish they had done for this card here is I wish it gave you the option. Either, you know, like choose one, channel a rune exhausted, or draw a card. Because that would be nice, kind of like what we saw with this confront card. Now, this card just draws a card, period, right? And then it also has units you play this turn enter ready. I really like how they designed this card. Like, it's pretty much never a dead card. Even if you get it early on, or if you don't have units on the board, you can still use it to cycle through for a very cheap cost of 2. Now, in the case of Mobilize, you're going to pay 2, and you're not going to draw a card unless you can't channel any more runes, like if you have all 12 runes. So still, I'm not saying this is a bad card. I just wish they had gave us the option to either channel a rune early on to ramp up early, or later in the game, like in the mid game, maybe we can choose to draw a card because we have enough runes to work with. I don't know. That's just, maybe I'm being a little too picky. Either way, this seems like a very solid card. You got to love the early ramp cards like this. Good stuff. All right, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Paka Cub, or Paka Cub. I'm not sure how to say that. It's a 3-cost, 3-might Ixtal Cat unit with Hidden. You can hide this now for, recycling a rune to react with it later for 0. Okay, so this is just a 3-cost, 3-might unit that can be hidden. Seems good. In fact, that seems really strong the more I think about it, guys, because think about it. You're paying 1 for this card, and you're not even paying, you're recycling a rune to play this out hidden, and it's 3 mites worth. So this could be very strong. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we have Pit Rookie. This is a 2-cost, 2-might Bilgewater unit with, when you play me, buff another friendly unit, okay? So it cannot buff itself, but you can buff another friendly unit. Very nice. So we're seeing more of that buff mechanic within Orange here. Seems good. Okay, not too much to talk about here. Let's keep going. All right, next up we have Catalyst of Eons. This is a 4-cost spell with channel 2 runes exhausted, and if you couldn't channel 2 runes this way, draw 1. Okay, so this is like the bigger, stronger version, the bigger, more expensive version of Mobilize, right? Mobilize was pay 2 to channel 1, and then Catalyst is pay 4 to channel 2. Okay, pretty straightforward. It looks like ramping is going to be a big deal for Orange. This will be the the way to ramp resources in the game of Riftbound. Okay, very nice. I do love the fact that this is just like the other one, the Mobilize card, where it's like, okay, if you couldn't channel 2 runes this way, you get to draw a card. Okay, it's nice that they built that utility into it. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we have Cythria, or Cythria of Cloudfield, however you say that. This is a 2-cost, 1-might Demacia Elite unit with, when you play another unit, buff me, okay? So this is a nice card to play out early, but at the same time, even if you play this out early on turn 1, for 2, next turn, if you play out another card, if you play another unit, this is still just a 2, right? It's still just a 2-might unit. So it's weird to me. I feel like this card should have been a 2-cost, 2-might unit. Excuse me, a 2-cost, 2-might unit with, when you play another unit, buff me. But who knows, maybe that would have been a little bit too strong. I'm not sure. But otherwise, this card does seem a little bit underpowered to me. If you guys help me out in the comment section below if I'm missing something there. Okay, let's keep going. All right, next up we have Herald of Scales. This is a 4-cost, 3-might Mount Targon unit with your dragon's energy costs are reduced by 2 to a minimum of 1. Okay. Well, guys, if they print enough dragons, I can imagine this Herald of Scales being the centerpiece of a really, really strong, dragon affinity style deck. That could be really, really cool. We'll have to keep our eye out from now on for other dragons. I've seen quite a few, but I can't just think of them all off the top of my head just yet. But I have seen quite a few dragons, and now that I know this card exists, I'll definitely have to keep that dragon keyword in mind. Okay, let's keep going. So next up we have Kinku Monk. I'm not sure how to say that. This is a 4-cost, 4-might Ionia unit. Like I said, Kinku Monk? However you say it. It says, when you play me, buff 2 other friendly units. Okay, now when you play this card out, now this is very nice. You do have to recycle 1 orange body rune, but when you play me, buff 2 other friendly units. So you're paying 4 for a combined might of 6. This can be very strong, but you will notice this though. You have to buff 2 other friendly units. So if you don't have any other friendly units on the board, this unit's not very strong. You're getting, well, I guess it's still decent, right? Because you're paying 4 for 4 might, so it's not even terrible if you're playing it by just all alone. But you really want to be able to play this with other units on the field so you can cash in on the full value of it. This could be potentially really strong, but we'll have to see what kind of decks can abuse this mechanic and fill out the board so that we can get the full value. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, I mean, we were just talking about that Dragon Tamer girl. What is it, the Herald of Scales? Man, I'll tell you what, this Mountain Drake, yeah, this fits the bill. This is a 9-cost 10. Hang on. Okay, hang on. So this is a 9-cost 10 might Mountain Drake. It's just a vanilla dragon unit. It doesn't have any ability. So guys, imagine if we have this Herald of Scales down. This is just one example. Okay, this is just one example. And some people might think it's a little bit like Magic Christmas Land. Maybe it is. But hear me out, guys. If you have, let's say you're going first. All right, so you're going first. You get 2 runes, right? Okay, if you can use Mobilize right away to get to 3, and then next turn, play out this Herald of Scales, you'll be on 5, right? So play out this Herald of Scales for 4. You'll have 1 extra resource for the turn. And then on the next turn, you'll go up to 7. And then your dragon's energy costs are reduced by 2. Okay, well, we'll play out this Mountain Drake for 7. And now we have a 10 might unit on the board. That seems really, really strong. This could have some potential, guys. We'll have to mess around with this at some point. I'm just sure of it. Maybe people already have. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Is it too gimmicky? Maybe it's a little bit too hard to pull off. We'll have to try it out. We'll have to see what happens. All right, let's keep going. All right, next up we have Pirate's Haven. This is a 3-cost gear that says when you ready a friendly unit, give it +1 might this turn. So I would imagine this should apply during whatever phase it is in this game where you ready all of your units, right? So at the beginning of your turn, if you have this gear down, do all of your friendly units get a +1 might bonus for the turn? Like all the ones that had to ready, of course. If that's the case, this card could be very strong, and it could also synergize with one of the other cards we saw earlier, First Mate, that says when you play me, ready another unit. Okay, so if you can somehow find a way to cash in on that, maybe with a card with ganking or something. I mean, imagine, let's just this is just one example. If you have this Pirate's Haven down, and then you ready all your units for the turn, if you have a unit with ganking and you go to attack in to a battlefield, okay, well, they have +1 might from the Pirate's Haven, and then after that, they had to exhaust just to go there, and then if you play out that First Mate card to make that unit ready, well, now it gets another +1 might, and now, like I said, if it has ganking in this example, you can go right over to the other battlefield. So it looks like Orange is going to have some pretty decent tricks that they can pull off with some of these cards. At least it seems that way. We'll have to see what happens. But I've seen quite a few things that have made me raise an eyebrow like, I bet that can be abused to a very large extent. We'll have to see what happens. Not to say any of this will be easy, right? Because you're playing against someone, they have agency, they can do things. There's a lot of ways to interact with your opponent's board in this game from what I've seen so far. So they might see what's coming and just eliminate the threat immediately. But if they can't, if they're, it all depends on the situation, right? If they can't, then man, all of a sudden you're just going to start popping off. We'll have to see what happens. Very interesting card. If someone could confirm for me in the comment section below for this Pirate's Haven card, again, it says when you ready a friendly unit, give it +1 might this turn. Does that count at the beginning of your turn, right? Where you set all of your characters, all your units as ready? Will that give them a +1 might for the turn right away if they ready? If so, then this card actually seems really, really strong. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, next up we have Spoils of War. This is a 4-cost spell, and you do have to recycle a orange body rune, and it has reaction speed, and if an enemy unit has died this turn, this costs 2 less to draw 2 cards. Okay, so this is potentially a pay 2, recycle 1 orange body rune, and draw 2. That could be very strong. I think this card's actually still very playable for 4 to draw 2. But yeah, if you can get that extra bonus there of if an enemy unit has died this turn, pay 2 less for it. Just paying 2 to draw 2 seems really, really good. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Unyielding Spirit. This is a 1-cost spell with reaction speed, and it has prevent all spell and ability damage this turn. Okay, so we got some damage prevention. Seems really, really good. And it only costs 1, but you do have to return a rune to use this. It's reaction speed, of course, and you're going to be able to pay 1 to prevent all spell and ability damage for the turn. I think it's important to note, it's very important to to understand that it doesn't prevent combat damage. It just says prevent all spell and ability damage this turn. So that could be very, very strong still, though. Okay, let's keep going. All right, next up we have Wallop. This is a 2-cost spell, action speed, and it says as you play this, you may spend a buff as an additional cost, and if you do, ignore this spell's cost. Ready a unit. Wow. Okay, so it looks like Orange, or Body, is going to have a lot of ways to just ready units, get buffs, and then also, ramp runes. I mean, Orange has a lot of good stuff going on for it, right? I mean, we're even seeing some card draw. We just saw card draw with, what was that, Spoils of War. Orange has a lot of really good stuff going on for it, guys. But yeah, this Wallop card seems really cool. You're going to be able to ready a unit for 2. And then potentially even less than that if you can. It says as you play this, you may spend a buff as an additional cost. And if you do, ignore the spell's cost. So if you can just cash in on one of your buffs, just get rid of one, you can ready a unit for free. Seems good. Seems good, right? All right, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Wild Claw Shaman. This is a 4-cost, 3-might Freljord unit with when you play me, you may spend a buff to buff me and ready me. Okay, so a bunch of buff manipulation going on here, guys. Just moving buffs around and getting extra value from them. We just saw Wallop. You're going to be able to cash in your buffs to ready units. And now with this Wild Claw Shaman, you're going to be able to spend a buff to buff this, this unit and ready it. Seems good. Seems really, really good. It's a 4-cost, 3-might unit. When you play me, you may spend a buff to buff me and ready me. So imagine what that means, right? So you play this card out, it will usually come into play. Well, I mean, it will come into play rested or exhausted. However, when you play this unit, you're going to be able to spin a buff somewhere on the board. You may spend a buff. So I'd imagine it has to be one of your own buffs, right? So you may spend a buff to buff me and ready me. So you just transfer the buff from one of your friendly units over to this Wild Claw Shaman, and now it's ready and ready to attack. Seems good. Very, very solid. Okay, let's keep going. All right, next up we have Anivia Primal Champion Unit. 7-cost, 8-might, recycle 2 body runes, and when I attack, deal 3 damage to all enemy units here. Now, I know we asked this question earlier when it comes to like if damage lingers or not when it comes to a battle at a battlefield. But if it does, this unit's insane. Even if it doesn't, this unit's insane, right? Because you're attacking in for 8 might at a battlefield, and you're just wiping your opponent's battlefield of every 3 might and lower unit there. That is already good enough, and then you're coming in for the 8 might, like I said. So it's like, okay, yeah, this unit here seems like it could be very, very strong. Okay, big fan of this one. Let's keep going. Next up, we have Carnivorous Snapvine. This is a 5-cost, 6-might, recycle 2 body runes, Shadow Isles unit. With when you play me, choose an enemy unit at a battlefield. We deal damage equal to our mights to each other. Okay, so this is another card like the challenge card we saw earlier, right? Where whenever you play out this Snapvine, you're going to be able to challenge, basically, one of your opponent's units. And then it's going to be, might versus might. And, yeah, this seems like a really strong card here because it costs 5 and you're dealing 6. That's kind of the way that I would see this. You're paying 5 and then you're going to be able to safely challenge any one of your opponent's units that is 5 might or less. And if you're playing this out on curve, I would imagine that's going to be very, very easy, right? Because imagine if they were on a 4 rune turn, and then you go to a 5 rune turn, they're probably going to have like a 4 or maybe a 5 on the field, right? So if you end up playing this out for 5, and you do have to recycle 2 runes, but if you do end up playing this out for 5, you're going to be able to go against something that has probably 4 or less might, and you're a 6. So it should be a pretty safe battle there, right? Should be a pretty safe way to get rid of one of your opponent's characters. This seems really strong. Whenever you play me, choose an enemy unit at a battlefield. We deal damage equal to our mights to each other. And this is actually, I was trying to think of a way of how we could cash in on going first and using a mobilize right on turn 1. This is the best card I've seen for that so far, because that will look like this. So if we're going first, we start off with 2 runes, right? Okay, let's use mobilize. We go to 3. Next turn, we go to 5, and we can just slam this card down. Even if they just played out like a 2 or 3 might unit last turn, who cares, right? Just get rid of it, and now we have a 6 might unit on the board ready to attack next turn. So this seems like a really strong card here. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we have Kraken Hunter. This is a 3-cost 5 might unit. Recycle 2 body runes. It's a Bilgewater pirate unit with Accelerate and Assault 1. And it has, as you play me, you may spend any number of buffs as an additional cost, and that will reduce my cost by 1 body rune for each buff you spend. Okay, so this card is just massive. And the setback is the fact that you have to spend 2, or you have to recycle 2 body runes when you play this out, right? So if you play this out on, if you play this out right on turn 1 going second where you have 3 runes, okay, you're down to 1 rune now, right? However, if you play this later in the game where you can cash in on some buffs, check this out. As you play me, you may spend any number of buffs as an additional cost, and you're going to be able to reduce my cost by body runes for each buff you spend. So that could make this card very, very strong in the late game. But this card seems good at any time. I'm not going to lie. It's a 3-cost unit. That's a 5 might unit. Yes, you have to recycle 2. That's going to slow you down big time, but you're getting a pretty big advantage early on. A 5 might unit very, very early in the game, that's going to force probably a pretty strong response from your opponent to be able to deal with that. Okay, and then later in the game, you also can give this card Accelerate. You may pay 1 plus a rune as an additional cost to having enter ready. So I wonder, like say you have 3 buffs on the board. Say you have 3 units on the board and they're all buffed. If you play out Kraken Hunter for 4, right, to give it Accelerate and then try to recycle 3 runes, will you be able to eat up 3 different buffs on the board to pay for the Accelerate cost as well? Because it says you may pay, 1 and a rune as an additional cost to having enter ready. So I wonder if that will happen. And if that's the case, if you can cash in on things in that way, this is a card that probably can just straight up swing a game, right? Because if you throw everything into like your opponent's battlefield to get rid of that, get rid of whatever they had there, and some units survive with buffs, you might be able to play out this Kraken Hunter for 4, recycle 3 runes, just cash in on those buffs to keep your resources high and go right into another place, with Assault. You'll come in for 6. I think there might be some potential here, guys. This card could be very, very strong. Big fan of this card. This is just one of those cards that's just kind of like begging to be, exploited in some way or another to get, all the value you can out of it. Okay, let's keep going. All right, next up we have Lee Sin. It says Centered. This is Lee Sin Ionia Champion Unit. It is a 6-cost 6 might unit, champion unit with Accelerate, and other buffed friendly units at my battlefield have +2 might. Wow. Yeah, if we can find a way to make some type of build that just buffs up the board and have cards like Lee Sin to buff everything, to buff up the buffed characters or buffed units, man, that could be very, very strong. Other buffed friendly units at my battlefield have +2 might. So now that buff is not just a +1, it's a +3. So that is potentially very, very powerful. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we have Lee Sin, the same card we just saw. This is an alt art for it, though. Looks really good. Okay. All right, next up, we have Mistfall. This is a 3-cost gear with when you buff a friendly unit, you may pay an orange body rune and exhaust this to ready it. Okay, so whenever you buff a friendly unit, you're going to be able to pay this and exhaust this to ready it. Okay, so you're going to be able to recycle a orange body rune and exhaust this gear to ready the unit that you buffed. Okay, that was a little bit complicated there, guys. There was a lot going on, but I think I understand it. I don't think it's actually complicated, just the way it's worded and the way that they have this symbol. This always trips me up the way that this is right here. It says pay an orange, but that means to recycle it, right? So it's like the way that that's worded, it just kind of trips me up a little bit. But anyway, this actual gear seems pretty solid. Whenever you buff a friendly unit, just recycle a orange rune and then exhaust this gear to ready the unit you just buffed. So that's going to allow you to attack in again, or if you just played out a unit for the turn and you can buff it, you can go from there. Okay, seems good. Let's keep going. All right, next up we have Overt Operation. This is a 5-cost spell, action speed, and it says for each friendly unit, you may spend its buff to ready it. Okay, then buff all friendly units. All right. Now this does cost 5, and you have to recycle 2 orange body runes. But this could. Okay, I think this card is going to largely depend on how we can build the deck, right? If we can build a deck that does a few things, right? If we can flood the board efficiently and find ways to buff our board efficiently, then we can cash in on the value of cards like this, like the potential value from cards like this. Otherwise, this isn't so good, right? Because we have to have enough units on the board for this to on the board for this to matter, and we're gonna need enough ways to give buffs to those units on the board. So we'll have to see what we can cook up. But this card has a lot of potential. Let's keep going. All right, next up we have Primal Strength. This is a 4-cost spell, action speed, give a unit +7 might this turn. Yeah, that seems really, really strong. I know I keep using this, this term or this expression, but I think we have to really consider, when it comes to determining how strong cards are, I think we need to really consider how good their cost to might ratio is. And from what we've seen from most cards, we're pretty happy with a 1-to-1 cost to might ratio, right? So if it's like a 4-cost card, if we get 4 might from it, we're not too upset about that. If it's a 5-cost card and we get 5 might from it, okay, seems good. Well, in the case of this card, you're paying 4 for 7. You're basically, it's almost like a 2-to-1 ratio, right? I know that's backwards because we're saying cost to might, but this is like an incredible ratio we're seeing here, right? Instead of it being a 4 cost for a +4 might, you're getting a 4 cost for a +7 might. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this card. I would imagine this probably being maybe a staple. I haven't really tried any orange decks or anything. I haven't tried to put together anything in the orange color pool just yet, but I would imagine that this card is so strong that it's probably a staple. 4 costs for 7 might seems really good no matter what you're doing. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. But yeah, big fan of this card. Let's keep going. All right, next up we have Kiana Victorious. This is a 4-cost, 4 might champion unit with Deflect, and when I conquer, draw 1 or channel 1 rune exhausted. Okay, wow. So I think I'm a big fan of everything going on here. I think the stat line is good. We got 4 costs for 4 might. You do have to recycle a body rune, but I don't think that's too terrible, especially given what this unit does. But you're getting 4 costs, or you're getting 4 might for 4 cost. And then you're also getting Deflect built in to the unit. And whenever you conquer, you can fix whatever you need to. Do you need to fix your hand where you can draw a card? Are you starting to fall behind on your runes from using recycle effects? Okay, well then you can channel a rune exhausted. So yeah, I'm actually a big fan of everything about this unit here. I think this is a very, very strong champion unit here. Okay, let's keep going. All right, next up we have Sabotage. This is a 1-cost spell, and it has choose an opponent. They reveal their hand, and then you choose a non-unit card from it and recycle that card. Okay, wow. So I am a big fan of hand destruction. That is something I usually gravitate towards in whatever card game I play. And this reminds me of, I guess this is kind of like Duress in Magic, where you can't choose a creature, or in this case, you can't choose a unit, but you can make them recycle whatever else, or make them. I guess it's not the same as like discarding it or trashing it. They have to recycle it, which means put it on the bottom of its respective deck. So either way, you're paying 1, you're getting to see your opponent's hand, and then you're going to make them recycle one of their non-unit cards. You get to pick. So yeah, big fan of this card. Let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Udyr. This is a 6-cost, 6 might champion unit, Udyr Wildman, and it has spin my buff. Choose one that you've not chosen this turn. So we can either deal 2 damage to a unit at a battlefield, stun a unit at a battlefield, ready Udyr, or give Udyr ganking this turn. Okay, very nice. So we have a lot of options here. I do like when, I was just talking about this earlier, guys. I like when we get options, like with Kiana, where it's like, okay, we can draw a card, or we can ramp Dawn, more One Piece for you. We can ramp or channel runes. Really nice. And in the case of Udyr here, this is a very, we have a lot of options here. We can spend a buff, and we get to choose one that we've not chosen this turn. But we can deal 2 damage to a unit, we can stun something, ready Udyr, or gank. I mean, that seems really, really powerful. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, wow, we have an absolute monster here. Volibear Imposing. This is a 12-cost, 10 might unit, champion unit, 10 might champion unit. And you have it not only is it 12 cost, you also have to recycle 2 orange body runes. And let's see what it does. We have shield +3 or shield 3 and tank. And when an opponent moves to a battlefield other than mine, draw 1. Wow. So guys, this card is going to be defending for 13. That's correct, not 10, 13, because it has shield 3. And this unit must be assigned combat damage first. So just in order to be able to attack the rest of your units at that battlefield, your opponent has to get through 13 mites worth, okay? Or find a way to remove this unit, right? But then also, if they don't want to attack into the battlefield where this unit is, you get to draw a card, right? Because it says when an opponent moves to a battlefield other than mine, other than where Volibear is, you get to draw a card. Yeah, guys, this card is a juggernaut. This card is an absolute beast. And if you have, excuse me, if you can secure a battlefield and put this card there, yeah, you're probably going to be keeping that battlefield for the rest of the game. I'm sure there's going to be some ways to get around this, of course, but still, that is a very, very powerful champion unit there. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next up, okay, so this is the alt art for the card we just saw. Looks really cool, but I think I actually like the standard art even better, guys. Look at that. I mean, they both look incredible, to be fair, right? But I really like this the standard art on this one. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we have Warwick. This is a 6-cost, 5 might Zon Dog champion unit, Warwick Hunter. It has I enter ready, and when I attack, kill all damaged enemy units here. Excuse me, when I attack, kill all damaged enemy units here. Okay, so it's a 6-cost, 5 might unit. However, it enters into play ready, and you only have to recycle 1 rune, so that's not terrible. But it's a 6-cost, 5 might unit that just gets to attack in right away. And when it does attack, you get to take out all of the damaged enemy units there. Okay, seems good. I need to find out more about the damaged enemy units thing. That was a question I had earlier. I'll have to look into that more. But this does seem like a very powerful effect. Even without the when I attack, you know, taking out the damaged units, just being able to pay 6 and then attack in for 5 right away, that's already pretty much makes it worth running by itself. But then if there's extra bonus to that, seems good. All right, next up we have Dazzling Aurora. This is a 9-cost gear, and you also have to recycle 2 runes. And it has, at the end of your turn, reveal cards from the top of your main deck until you reveal a unit. Play it, ignoring its cost, and recycle the rest. Okay, that seems really insane. So you get to play it, ignoring its cost, and recycle the rest. So, okay, at the end of, let me read this one more time to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. At the end of your turn, reveal cards from the top of your main deck until you reveal a unit. So it's not even going to be like, you know, oh, what if I whiff and hit like a spell first or something, or a gear first? It just keeps going until you hit a unit. Okay, so at the end of your turn, reveal cards from the top of your main deck until you reveal a unit. Play it, ignoring its cost, and recycle the rest. Yeah, that seems pretty strong. I'm not going to lie. That seems really, really strong. I can already imagine a strategy built around this gear where you just have nothing but ways to ramp your resources early on, and then your entire deck is just nothing but massive units. Seems good. Seems really, really good. Okay, tell me what y'all think about this one in the comments section below. Am I not understanding something correctly here? Because this card seems really, really powerful. It makes sense why it costs 9. It makes sense now. Okay, let's keep going. All right, next up we have Dead Bloom Predator. This is an 8-cost, 8 might Shadow Isles unit with Deflect, and you may play me to an occupied enemy battlefield. Okay, so if I'm understanding that wording correctly, when you play this card, you can pretty much just throw it right into battle. Is that what's going on here? As long as your opponent occupies that battlefield? Yeah, that seems really, really strong. And this is an 8-cost, 8 might unit, and it has Deflect built in. It does cost 2, you do have to recycle 2 body runes, but that's really not too terrible, because this can help you just take over battlefields right away, if I'm understanding that correctly. Okay, very nice. Let's keep going. All right, next up we have Misfortune. This is a 5-cost, 5 might champion unit, Captain Misfortune here, with Accelerate, Ganking, and the first time I move each turn, you may ready something else that's exhausted. Okay, so we got a lot of tricks going on here, right? And I'm really liking the Ganking keyword the most. I guess there's some story behind that, right? For those who are not aware, whenever I play League of Legends, I like to play the jungle, so I do a lot of ganking as a jungler. So there is some bias there, I'm not going to lie. There's some personal bias there, but I also like it with the way it's built into this game, where you can move from battlefield to battlefield. I feel like ganking is probably one of the stronger keywords in the game. I mean, not to say it's just the strongest, we'll have to see what happens, and I'm sure it really depends on matchups and things like that. But just being able to go from battlefield to battlefield seems like it's going to be very, very strong in this game. So I like that Miss Fortune has that, and Accelerate. So they're going to be able to go in swinging, and then later on they're going to be able to move between battlefields very easily. And the first time I move each turn, you may ready something else that's exhausted. So you're going to be getting extra value in that way as well. It seems really, really strong. Because imagine, like, so I'm just going to give one example here. So say you use the Accelerate and everything, right? So you'll have to pay 6 altogether, and you're going to recycle 2 body runes altogether, right? So then you're going to swing in for 5, take over something, and go from there. And you're moving so you can also stand something up that's exhausted if there's a legal target. However, on the next turn is where it gets really crazy, right? Because on the next turn, what you might be able to do is go, okay, I'm going to play out a unit for the turn, and it's going to come into play rested or exhausted like normal, right? Okay, well now I'm going to go ahead and gank over to the other battlefield. And remember, the first time I move each turn, you may ready something else that's exhausted. It doesn't say something here, like where that unit's at. It doesn't say that, so I would imagine you can stand anything that's exhausted anywhere on the field. So again, if I'm understanding that correctly, this card seems good. But even if I'm off on that a little bit, this card still seems very strong, being able to accelerate and has ganking for later on. Very, very strong card here, I think. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, then we have the alt art for the card we just saw. This looks really good. Okay. And then we have Seal of Strength. We've seen a seal for every single one of the colors, guys. Every different color has its own seal. A nice way to offset or mitigate the recycle cost of cards. All right, then we have Set. Okay, this is a 5-cost 4-might champion unit set. This is Set Brawler, and it has when I'm played and when I conquer, buff me. Spend my buff to give me +4 might this turn. Okay, so when I'm played and when I conquer, buff me. So I would imagine this is how things are going to go. So you play out Set. Okay, there's one turn where he's just kind of chilling there, right? So you play out Set. He gets the buff. Then next time, on the next turn when this champion unit readies and it's ready to attack into a battlefield, okay, here we go. We're going to spend the buff to get +4 for the turn. We're going to smash into a battlefield as an 8-might unit, a 5-cost 8-might unit. And then whenever we conquer that battlefield, guess what? When I'm played and when I conquer, buff me. So you get the buff back to attack in later. And it says spend my buff to get the +4 might this turn. I wonder what the timing is on that. Can we activate that at any time, or is it only on certain times we can activate the spend my buff ability or effect there? Either way, guys, this seems like a very powerful offensive unit here that's going to be able to... It's actually very similar to the card we saw earlier on, the 4-cost primal strength or whatever it was called, where it's like, man, you're paying 5, and in this case, you're basically getting an 8-might unit. This seems very, very strong. Really big fan of this unit here. Okay, next up. We have, okay, and this is the alt art for the card we just saw. They both seem really good. I think I like this one more. This one has more of a golden paladin vibe, so I do tend to favor that look a little bit more. Well, all right, guys, that's it. That's it for all the orange body cards. And I will say orange felt the most complete to me. It felt the most well-rounded, where it's like I have a lot built in. There's a lot going on within all the orange cards we saw here. We had just random removal built in with like Carnivorous Snapvine and the challenge card. We had ways to ramp our runes or channel our runes with Catalyst of Eons and Mobilize. We had a little bit of a card draw built in with Spoils of War. And then we also had just buffs all over the place, right? Like not just like the actual mechanic buff like this right here. Other buffed friendly units at my battlefield have +2, but also just buffing units in general with like cards like Primal Strength, give a unit +7 might for the turn. Just incredible. So yeah, orange seemed the strongest to me so far out of everything we've seen. I have no idea what is actually the strongest color in the game right now. I haven't done enough testing. But orange even had some hand destruction. I'm wondering if wondering if we'll see more of this as we get into the purple and yellow cards. Purple, I believe, being chaos, and yellow, I believe, being order. Who knows if we see more of this going forward? But I am a huge fan of hand destruction in games. But orange kind of just had everything. Body had pretty much everything. Like I said, it had the ramping, it had some card draw, some removal, some hand destruction. It had these massive characters to jump into, and it had this incredibly powerful gear here that I'm sure there's going to be some kind of way to abuse. We'll have to see what happens. And even this card set. This card seemed really strong as well, guys. A 5 cost. It's like a 5 cost 8 might attacking unit. Seems good. All right, seems good. All right, I'm done, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please don't hesitate to put those down in the comment section below or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. Hope y'all enjoyed. Until next time, guys. Peace.